there is a truth powerful enough to save the majority of marriages from breaking apart, yet most women will reject it the moment they hear it. Some will call it outdated, some will call it misogynistic, some will scoff, get angry, or shut down. But none of that changes the reality. You cannot demand everything from a man, give nothing in return, and expect the relationship to survive. You cannot treat marriage like a service industry where the woman is the permanent customer and the man is the lifetime provider. You cannot build a family on the belief that his contribution is duty while your contribution is optional. Until both partners understand that marriage is an exchange, not an extraction, there will be no peace, no partnership, no lasting connection. Let's break this down clearly. Unrealistic expectations are destroying modern relationships. Today's relationship demands are impossible. Many women want a man who is financially exceptional but always available, emotionally open but never vulnerable, masculine and assertive but endlessly patient, helpful with household work while maintaining a dominant frame, deeply romantic yet completely practical, confident but not intimidating, stable but still exciting, endlessly supportive but never requiring support. This is not a partner. They want a shape-shifting miracle who adapts to their moods and insecurities on command. A man who functions like automation, programmed to satisfy, forbidden to complain. I once knew a man whose wife gave him a list of 23 demands to fix the marriage. She wanted him to earn more, spend more time with the family, get in better shape, plan spontaneous dates, communicate more deeply, and travel more. When he asked what she would work on, she replied calmly, "I'm already doing my part by being with you." This is the dynamic today. Her presence is the contribution. Everything else is his responsibility. Social media has corrupted relationship expectations. We live in an era where curated illusions shape real expectations. Women consume endless content about high-value men, princess treatment, never settling, and if he wanted to, he would. They watch staged TikToks of fictional relationships and compare those fantasies to the human man next to them. Tired after a 10-hour shift, stressed about bills, doing his best. The comparison kills the relationship. The fantasy kills gratitude. The entitlement kills reciprocity. Emotional entitlement has reached absurd levels. Many modern women genuinely believe their emotions are their partner's responsibility. If she is sad, he must fix it. If she is insecure, he must reassure her endlessly. If she is overwhelmed, he must take over. But if he is stressed, if he is insecure, if he is drained, if he is afraid, suddenly those are his issues. A man I worked with told me his wife expected 2 hours of emotional support every evening, a daily debrief of her anxieties, frustrations, and feelings. But when he opened up about work stress, she accused him of dumping negativity on her and told him to get therapy. She demanded unlimited compassion while offering none in return. That is not partnership. That is emotional vampirism. Lack of reciprocity is the real marriage killer. Every relationship is an exchange. Effort for effort, time for time, respect for respect, emotional presence for emotional presence. But modern culture tells women that simply being female entitles them to love, attention, gifts, protection, and financial security, without giving anything equivalent back. Men are expected to earn their place. Women are told they simply deserve it. This entitlement poisons everything. The perfect victim mindset is destroying families. In many households, the narrative is clear. If there is a problem, it must be the man's fault. He works too much. He works too little. He isn't emotional enough. He's too emotional. He's not romantic. He's not organised. He doesn't communicate properly. He doesn't read her mind. She, on the other hand, sees herself as morally flawless. When asked, "What part of the conflict might be your contribution?" most answer, "I care too much. I give too much. I'm too patient." These aren't flaws, they're disguised compliments. This mindset guarantees the marriage will collapse. Men don't leave. Because of one big problem, they leave from 10,000 small cuts. Most men don't walk out because of betrayal or catastrophe. They leave because of years of subtle disrespect, endless criticism, unappreciated effort, assumptions instead of communication, contempt, disguised as advice, expectations that grow while gratitude shrinks. A man can only carry so much before he stops trying, and when he stops trying, the relationship is already over. He simply hasn't moved out yet. Selective accounting is exhausting. Women count every laundry load and every school drop-off as heroic effort, but the mortgage, the utilities, the car repairs, the investments, the long hours, the emotional shielding, that's just what a man should do. A client's wife posted online about how she was a married single mother because her husband worked late. She forgot to mention that he was working 70 hours a week so she could stay home, drive a new car, attend private yoga classes, and hire a nanny. But he missed one school play, so he became the villain. When a narrative requires erasing a man's contribution, the relationship is already broken. Control disguised as care. I just want you to be the best version of yourself often means, I want to reshape you to fit my fantasy. Many women enter relationships expecting to renovate the man, changing his hobbies, his style, his goals, his personality. They treat him not as a partner, but as a project. And then they are shocked when he resists being remodeled. Self-reflection is almost non-existent. Before asking, what is wrong with him? Ask, what is my role in this dynamic? But self-reflection threatens the comfortable fantasy that women are naturally more empathetic, more responsible, more evolved, so instead, many avoid the mirror. The hyperdiagnosis epidemic. Today, every disagreement, every boundary, every no is labelled abuse. A man asking for financial contribution, abusive. A man wanting intimacy more than once a month, controlling. A man setting limits with her ex, manipulative. Real trauma language is now weaponized in everyday arguments. When everything is abuse, nothing is abuse. And real victims get lost in the noise. I've seen wives accuse their husbands of emotional violence simply because he asked for shared responsibilities or expressed a personal need. This isn't trauma, it's entitlement wearing a victim's mask. The death of empathy. When one person receives constant support but offers none in return, the emotional river dries up. Men become numb not because they lack empathy, but because their empathy has been drained without replenishment. A man cannot endlessly absorb criticism and still show tenderness. He cannot be ignored and still stay attentive. He cannot be disrespected and still feel desire. Neglect kills connection just as surely as cruelty. The power of small gestures. Modern relationship culture encourages women to dismiss simple acts of love as outdated or beneath them, but men live on simple, consistent gestures. A cooked meal, a gentle touch, a thank you, a quiet moment without accusation, a smile instead of a complaint. One of my clients nearly cried when his wife made his favourite meal for the first time in months, not because he needed pampering, but because he hadn't felt appreciated in so long. Men are starving in their own homes, but not for sex, for kindness. The emotional invisibility of men. Men suffer, men burn out, men fall into depression, men feel fear, loneliness and exhaustion. But these realities are dismissed because the cultural narrative says women carry the emotional load of relationships. So when a man breaks, he is weak. When he asks for help, he is burdening her. When he is overwhelmed, he is not trying hard enough. Society has no space for male vulnerability, but it demands endless male strength. Communication. That isn't communication. The modern relationship is full of misfires. She hints, he misses the hint. She gets angry that he didn't read her mind. He gets confused because she never said anything directly. This is not communication, it's telepathy by force. Here's a classic example. She says, the house is dirty. She means, I'm overwhelmed. Please help me. He hears a fact. Yes, it is dirty. He agrees. She explodes. You never help me. And he stands there confused, because the request was never spoken. Men communicate, in solutions. Women communicate in implications. Without understanding this difference, every sentence becomes a battlefield. Two extremes that kill. Marriages. There are two types of women who destroy marriages. 1. The martyr. She does everything, complains endlessly, refuses help, and demands gratitude for burdens no one asked her to carry. 2. The controller. She micromanages every detail, criticizes every choice, and overrides her husband's every decision, and then resents him for not leading. Both dynamics poison partnership. One suffocates him with sacrifice, the other suffocates him with control. Emotional literacy, the missing skill. Marriage doesn't fail because people fall out of love. It fails because they lack the skills to communicate without destroying each other. Effective communication means expressing needs without attacking, criticizing without humiliating, disagreeing without escalating, listening without defensiveness, choosing clarity over hinting, choosing truth over emotional theatrics. This requires humility, something modern culture actively fights. The collapse of responsibility. Modern culture tells women they are the prize, the victim, the heroine of the relationship story. Meanwhile, men are cast as the fixer, the provider, or the villain. But a partnership cannot survive if only one person believes they are responsible for everything good, and the other is responsible for everything bad. Marriage requires two adults, not one adult and one entitled dependent. The erosion of fatherhood. Many men are pushed out of parenting by partners who undermine them at every turn. He sets a boundary, she removes it. He gives discipline, she reverses it. He makes plans, she overrides them. Then she declares he's not involved. No man can lead where he's not allowed to act. This dynamic wounds not only the father, it wounds the children, who grow up believing their father's authority is secondary, meaningless, or laughable. Modern marriage has become an unwinnable game. The rules today look like this: earn more, but be home more, be strong, but be soft, lead, but don't dominate, provide, but don't expect anything, be romantic, but not needy, work harder, but don't be tired, be confident, but not intimidating, give everything, but be satisfied with nothing. Men are walking away not because they fear commitment, but because they refuse to play a game that is rigged against them. Gratitude is rare. Entitlement is common. A man's efforts are invisible until he stops making them. Women will say, "I do everything," while standing inside a home built on his sacrifices. Mortgages are paid, bills are handled, cars are maintained, safety is provided, but these don't count because they're expected. Meanwhile, her chores become legendary contributions. This imbalance of gratitude crushes men more than anything else. Ihani through or conclusion, the only truth that can save modern marriage. The solution is not complicated. It does not require therapy jargon, spiritual cliches, or endless discussions. It requires one thing: reciprocity. Give what you want to receive. Value what you get. Respect what he sacrifices. Contribute as much as you expect. Build instead of consume. Support instead of drain. Listen instead of accuse. Reflect instead of blame. Cooperate instead of control. Marriage dies when one person believes they are superior. Marriage thrives when both people recognize each other's humanity. If a woman sees her partner as a project, a paycheck, or a problem to be fixed, there is no relationship, only resentment wearing a ring. Men are not leaving because they reject family. They are leaving because the version of marriage offered to them is unworkable. Today's marriage model demands maximum responsibility with minimal respect. Men have learned the cost. They have watched divorce courts destroy fathers. They have seen friends reduced to visitors in their children's lives. They have seen wives rewrite history to appear as victims. They are not blind. They are not weak. They are not afraid. They are simply unwilling to participate in a contract designed for their failure. A healthy marriage looks like this: two adults, not a parent and a dependent, mutual respect, not moral superiority, shared burdens, not one-sided sacrifice, gratitude, not entitlement, communication, not telepathy, humility, not victimhood, equal humanity, not hierarchy, partnership, not domination, reality, not fantasy. Anything else collapses under its own weight. The future of relationships depends on one choice. Choose partnership over ego. Choose humility over entitlement. Choose responsibility over blame. Choose reality over fantasy. Choose effort over complaint. Choose growth over comfort. Marriage does not fail because people change. It fails because people refuse to change themselves.